broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Here we are, guys. Here we are for the AFTERBUZZ TV Outlander After Show. I am Marielou Mandl, and you can find me on all social media at Marielou Mandl. And today we are going to talk about the latest episode in Season 1, Wentworth Prison. Now, before we get into that, just want to make sure you guys do subscribe to AFTERBUZZ TV on YouTube. Please comment. I love reading the comments. We always love to respond to you guys and see what you guys think. Lauren's not with me today, but she will be back. Our happy hippie will be back for the finale, and we are super pumped about that as well. Do also subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can find us on all of those places, and look for us, hashtag AFTERBUZZ TV. Yes. And you can hashtag with me for this episode, ABTV Outlander, and hashtag Blackjack is back, which is the main point of the episode that we're going to talk about today, Wentworth Prison. That's the hashtag that Starz put out for everybody to chat about. And I looked up that hashtag to see what you guys were saying. And I think everybody felt pretty much the same, that Blackjack is a creepy, creepy dude. And very, very evil. So let's get into the episode here. So Wentworth Prison, we start out with all these guys waiting to get hung. Oh my gosh, or hanged. I apologize. We did have a discussion on this on our YouTube comments. You're hanged. People are hanged, but men can be hung. We talked about this. And Anna Franklin's the one who cleared that up for us on YouTube, and I really appreciate that. So I had a good giggle over the grammar of that. So we've got our guys in line. And our buddy is up to go up next, and he says the only thing he regrets is being a thief and not fighting to protect his country against these evil redcoats. And then he goes for it. He's gone, but it's not a quick death. He's like flailing a little bit, but then the page turns, and now it's time for Jamie to be executed. He goes up, and now, of course, he is our second lead. He's our main love interest, and there's no way they're going to kill him. But then I don't trust anything on TV anymore after Season 1 of Game of Thrones. I trust nobody, which I think you shouldn't, because wild things can happen. But it also makes TV a lot of fun. So we're up there. Jamie's about to take his turn. He does fight a little bit, but you can see him going through these motions of like, well, maybe this is it, because there's not really many other options for him to escape. But then Blackjack shows up on a horse to stop him, like with minutes. So you're like, great, he's going to be saved. But is that a worse position than just being executed right then and there? So maybe Jamie's on that platform. You guys tell me what you think. Was he considering maybe just jumping and letting the rope kill him? Because maybe that would be better than going with evil Blackjack, who's going to do who knows what to him. But he ends up going with Blackjack, and he now keeps him imprisoned so he can use him for whatever he needs to use for. So that's what the majority of this episode is about, and it did creep me out. It did creep me out because I was nervous for what was to come, especially since a lot of people on our comments were saying they dread what's coming, because I haven't read the books, and I know most people have read the books, so I'm experiencing everything new, and then all of our fans of the Outlander book series have already experienced this, and they kind of know how things are going to go. And from I see comments, I'm a family friend, and she's trying to be a good Christian woman and get a letter from Jamie to bring to his family, which is a really great tactic, but it's not going to work because this guy's like, I don't want you to be in danger. But here are his personal effects that normally would be given to his family after the prisoner's executed. But they're like, here, you can give this to them, and this will fulfill your Christian woman duty. Now, I was really impressed with this actress because you could see how stressed she was, but she was trying to stay cool for the sake of the mission. But you could see her trying to hide it, and I loved it. Like, I saw really amazing layers for her to do this. And so he gives her the personal effects, and then she leaves. She goes and is holding herself together until she gets right at the door, and then she throws up. Because, of course, like, she knows her guy's gonna get executed. Like, she's at her wit's end on what to do to save him. And he was able to save her episodes earlier in the season. So she just wants to be able to do the same so she can be reunited with him. So then we get to the bar. Claire and the guys are in the bar. And Murdoch and Claire are like annoyed because all of the other guys are chumming it up with people in the bar, having a good time, drinking, playing games, all of that stuff. And they're a little upset. Like, why are they doing this? They obviously don't care about Jamie as much as we do. But actually, they were doing a really fabulous thing and getting information from people who worked at the prison. That, it's just like any good networking, drink, joke, get information. They're like fabulous networkers, apparently. And so what we find out is that the warden, Fletcher, goes to the bar every evening and reads his Bible and reflects on life. So he is out of his office for about an hour every day. And one of the guys is like, is that it? And the guy was like, well, no, shouldn't that be enough? And then Claire's like, no, actually, that's enough. Let's work with this. So we go back to the prison and we see Jamie in his cell, and Blackjack comes in with his crony, and he's like, he's dumb, but he's really, really a good guy. He's going to torture you. It's going to suck. But then Blackjack brings out this letter that was going to clear his name and then put Blackjack in a bad light, and saying that the guy that he got it from, which I can't remember what his name is right now, but he got it from him because obviously this guy drinks and he likes to talk, and he talked to me and he gave me this letter. That would be really, really bad if this got out, because I would probably be the one about to get executed. Well, he burns it, obviously, because he's not trying to put himself in a bad position like that. He wants to torture Jamie. He doesn't want to be seen as the bad guy here, because what he thinks he's doing is all good. So he burns the letter, and now that's like, it makes my heart sink, because we thought that Jamie was going to get cleared and they were going to be able to live a good life. But hopefully, I'm assuming he'll get out of this. They're still going to be on the run, but I trust nothing. Who knows? So then we go back to Claire, and they're going to the warden's office, and she's like, I'm here to see Sir Fletcher. And the guard there is like, no, he's not here. He didn't say anything about you coming back. And she's like, what, are you saying that Fletcher's a liar? Slick. She is a slick female, and totally intelligent, and being able to say that. So she sees that what they need is Claire and Murdoch need this guard to leave, but she sees that he's a little bit suspicious. So she says, hey, why don't you just wait here with me? Get off your feet for a little bit. And the guy, you see Murdoch and Claire get a little nervous, because like, what if the guy does stay? Then their hour is wasted. Like, they've got short, precious time to try and get some information out of this office. But the guy was like, oh, are you trying to make me do bad at my job? So he leaves, and then they get to look through the office and see what's going on. So then we go back to the dungeon, and Blackjack is like, hey, can I call you Jamie? Like they're buddies. And so I really love and hate this character of Blackjack, because he's so twisted, and it's fun to watch, except that it's like dangerous. Like, I don't know if I could meet that actor in person anymore, even though he also plays Frank, and Frank is so sweet. So props to him for being so versatile, because like at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, this guy is so great. And now he's evil. Amazing. So I would love to see him play like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. I think he would rock at that kind of a role. So he's trying to be friendly with him. And then he talks with Jamie, and Jamie's like not breaking down and not wanting to succumb to his pursuit. But then he says, do I haunt your dream? So yes, like, you got away from me, but you really didn't get away from me, because let me ask you this. While you were having sex with your wife and she touches the scars on your back that he left from whipping him, does it make you soft, essentially is what he asked him. And I was like, oh, that's some really creepy, twisted stuff there. So all that Blackjack wants is for Jamie to admit his fear. And in exchange, he's going to give him a gift. And what is this gift? I'm going to let you choose how you're going to die. Oh, so sweet. But kind of good, because Blackjack could probably kill him in the worst way possible. And he's doing this in such a calm way. It's so calm. He's like, no, just you could die like Socrates. You could have a Greek death, a Roman death. Your choice. Your choice. All you got to do is say, you creep me out, dude, and I have nightmares about you. But, he's like, I'm going to get you to surrender. Before you die, you are going to surrender to me, which at that moment, I kind of was like, Jamie, just do it. Just do it and get out of there, because it's not going to get any better. But it does get worse. It does get worse. So we're back in the office. Claire and Murdoch are now pillaging the office because they're there by themselves. And they're like, there's got to be something. There's got to be something. Murdoch gets some keys. And then the guard walks in right at that moment saying, hey, I'm going to check in on you. And they just knock him out because now he's going to ring the alarm. So Claire says to Murdoch, like, tie him up and hide him somewhere. And then they're going to go forward with the plan. And Murdoch's like, okay, I'll go with you into the prison. He's like, no. And she says, no, I'm going to go alone. You leave. So I now am super nervous for Claire because I know she's going to end up running into Blackjack and Jamie in that situation, and it's just going to be bad for everybody. I was so nervous the entire episode, and from what I read on Twitter and from everybody's comments is that I was not alone in feeling that way. So Claire's exploring the bowels of this prison, and she's calling into all of the cells that have multiple prisoners in it, and she's like, Jamie's Jamie here. And one guy, I giggled. I think he's like, I'll be your Jamie. Come on over. No, thank you, sir. Then there's another prisoner that's like, oh, check down below, because that's where we keep the people, or that's where they keep the people that are not good enough for hanging, or to be hanged. Hang. The people who are going to get killed somehow, some other way, separate from the other prisoners. So, which is where Jamie's at. So she heads down that way. Then we get back to Blackjack and Jamie. And Jamie says, you know what, bro? I'm not going to surrender to you. No, it's not going to happen. And then Blackjack says, well, you know what? I would have been disappointed if you did. But I guess I had to ask. It's such a weird little thing that they have going on. And then he says, there's no shame in it. Every man can be broken. So then he asks him to show him his back. And we know already that Blackjack has this obsession with the scars that he's left on Jamie and torturing Jamie. And that we realize later in the episode how obsessed he is. But he says, okay, fine, I'll show you. And then as soon as Blackjack gets close, he tussles with him, and then they end up hammering his hand, which was really, really heartbreaking because, this is his life. That's how he fights. That, how is that going to heal? But, we learn later that it does get much, much worse. So before I continue with the rest of the episode, we do have a little promo from ABC's Whispers. So check that out.
So Harper has a new friend. He's what you might call imaginary.
Monday, June 1st. What if a child's imaginary friend wasn't imaginary?
Grown-ups can't see him.
The can't-miss drama of the summer
I think this friend is real.
Told you, Mommy.
arrives.
I don't think we're dealing with a who. I think we're dealing with a what.
The Whispers, series premiere Monday, June 1st on ABC.
So that's The Whispers on ABC. So do make sure you check that out, especially if you're into creepy stuff like we're seeing in this Outlander episode. I bet there's going to be some creepy stuff in The Whispers as well. So I can't wait to see that show. So back to tonight's episode of Outlander. Claire is now going through the prison, and we hear Jamie screaming from getting his hand smashed. And, and then we get Blackjack. He's like, why are you forcing me to hurt you? This dude is so messed up, because he's like, I'm trying to help you. Why are you doing this? He says, I'm doing this to help you. And to make matters worse, he's broken Jamie's hand, and then he grabs him and is like holding him. And he's like, oh, I want you to feel better. I'm trying to, why do you do this? Why do you make me hurt you? And then he grabs Jamie's hand and puts it on his junk. Like, what character does this? This guy. I can't believe, you guys who wrote this, like, Diana, we need to talk, because maybe you got to work some stuff out. Awesome. I love it. So he says, I'm only here to help you. I'm not here to fight you. And then Blackjack leaves. And that gives Claire a chance to sneak in, and she tries to remove the shackle. But Jamie's saying, hey, you've got to go because Blackjack is here. You got to get out of here. Like, let me be. And, but before this, when we see Claire walking around, she does find a door and she unlocks it. So we know that that's going to be a device later, because they put a lot of focus on that. So I'm assuming that that's how they're going to get back into the prison, which we find out later. She tells the guys that, and that's part of their plan. But she tries to remove the shackle from Jamie's leg, and that's when Blackjack comes back in, creepily sneaks back in from the shadows, and he's like, hey, you come here at the most opportune times, you sneaky girl. But he does sing Claire her praises and say, you are definitely not a coward. You're not scared, and you are a good match for Jamie. And he like touches her face and like takes off a piece of sweat, and he's like, sweat from exertion, nice. I was like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? I don't know, but it creeps me out. Like, if anyone ever did that to me, I don't even know how I would respond, but I don't know. Maybe somebody go out into like a Starbucks and do that to somebody and see what happens. I don't know. Maybe better in the gym. Sweat from exertion. Sweet. Gross. She says to him, I should have slit your throat when I had the chance, when he had her captured. And he's like, yeah, no, you're definitely going to regret that choice. But, she couldn't, because that would directly affect Frank in the future. So then what would that even mean? Because if she kills Blackjack, then Frank doesn't exist, then they never get married. They would have never went to the town where she went through the rocks. And then she would have never met Jamie. She would never been in this situation. Time, space, continuum. It's just going to implode. And we don't want that to happen. So what are they going to do with this? Like, that's why he's such a formidable bad guy, because you can't really do anything. Like, there's so much that weighs upon destroying this dude. So he's like, yeah, no, you're definitely going to regret that you did that. And, they have some words, and Jamie says, you know what, free her, and then you can have me in the way that you want to have me, which is he wants him sexually. And we know, like, I was nervous for Claire coming into this, because the scene where earlier in the season where Blackjack had Claire and he was like beating her and like about to rape her, that was hard to watch already. And then they're like bringing in this like even more scary life things. Like, it's just hard. It's just hard to live in this Outlander world. And I'm glad that I am here in 2015 and not in their situation. So he says, free her and you can have me. And, they're still having all of these issues. He's like, send her away or I will. And then Blackjack, already on Jamie's injured hand, he's like, put your hand on the table. He's like, no, the one that's injured, not your good hand. And he nails it to the table. What? This guy, I just can't. And he grabs Jamie, Blackjack grabs Jamie and like starts making out with him while Claire's like crying. And this is just so intense. Like, it was hard to watch, because I was like, when is this scene going to end? Because I can't handle this anymore. Like, somebody please move forward and free them of this torture. And so he's like, send her away. And so Blackjack takes her, and they are in the hallway. Now, this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode, and maybe one of my top favorite scenes of the entire season is when Blackjack and Claire are talking, and he's like, there's a rumor that you're a witch. Somebody accused you of being a witch. And she's like, yeah, you know what, I am. And I curse you, and I'm going to tell you when you're going to die. She drops her future knowledge on him. And you see, for the first time, I think, in the entire season, is the first nugget of fear we see on Blackjack's face. And for me, that gave me hope, because, like, even if he kills them all and tortures them all, at least she got a jab in, and a really good jab, because now he's going to be living in fear of that date for the rest of his days. And like, it's exactly what he was wanting to do to Jamie, of this, like, do I haunt you in your sleep? Like, she's given him something that's probably going to haunt him in his sleep. So take that. Take it. Ugh, so creepy. I'm really sorry if I ever see this actor, if I ever see Tobias in real life, I'm going to have issues. We're going to have words. And but I'm sure I'm not the first person to have that situation with him, because when you play really evil characters like that, I bet you deal with it a lot in real life as well. So yes, she drops her future knowledge. She curses him with the hour of his death, and then he gets his look of fear, and then he shoves her in a pit of corpses. And when she fell down this pit, it seemed like a pretty long drop, so I was for sure that she probably like broke her legs or something. But she does seem to get out uninjured, which not very realistic to me when everything else is so gory and so graphic. I expected like a limp at the very least, but she is our star and we need her to function so the story can move forward. But she crawls out of there, and we see her running back to where the rest of the crew is. So she's going to the forest because she knew Murdoch was waiting over there. So Jamie says, we go back to the prison, or into the cell, and Jamie says to Blackjack, she's safe. And he says, don't worry, bro, you've got my word. Like they're friends. What is going on? I can't even think of another dynamic. And you guys tweet at me or comment on our YouTube page. Tell me if you have another pair in cinema or television that have this kind of dynamic, because it was torture as an audience member. I can only imagine it was for the people in the scene as well, and for these characters. So so Blackjack, again with his obsession with Jamie's back, he's like, all right, let's get to work here. And he gets behind Jamie, because Jamie's now nailed to the table. He can't do anything. He's just sitting there. He starts to like cut the back of his shirt, and he opens it up and starts to touch it. And he's like, what's it like to be like living in all of this dead flesh, like really twisted? And he like touches it and he licks him and smells him. He has some sexy time with Jamie's scars. Like loves it more, like, because when he tried to rape Jamie's sister, Jenny, he couldn't get it up. But like, I can only imagine that for Jamie and all of his scars, and scars that he caused himself, he was pretty excited about it. So then we get there, and like his last line, Blackjack's last line in the episode is, so shall we begin? Oh my gosh. So it's already so bad. Like, what now that he has his way and he's going to do whatever he wants with Jamie? Like, what is he going to do? And that's what scares me for our next episode. And then we get back to our final scene of the episode. So she finds them in the forest. She finds Murdoch and the crew, and then they end up going to this house, like a safe house. So they've got an ally, and Claire asks him, how many men can you round up in order for us to go save Jamie? Like, we got to go do this. We got to do this now. Like, seriously, I had that sense of urgency too, because I was like, he's about to get, like done up the butt, and, seems to not be Jamie's thing, is my guess, from the way that they're going, especially from Blackjack, to each his own. You're going to do what you need to do. But he's not something that he wants to happen right now. So there's a sense of urgency, because Jamie's probably going to die after Blackjack gets his way with him. So this ally says, no, I can't give you any men. I can only give you temporary shelter. And so she says, hey, I can pay you. I don't expect you to ask your men to risk their lives for nothing. And she pulls out a pearl necklace and gives it to the guy. And he's holding it, and you see that there's something that clicks at him. This is, he sees the necklace, and then he's like, oh, is this Ellen Mackenzie's son? And she's like, yes, it is. And then we come to learn that Jamie's mom had yet another admirer, because we learned a while ago, like an episode or two ago, that Murtaugh was also one of Jamie's mom's admirers. And so now we have this guy also who wants to do something, loves her also. Like, you could see it. Like, he's like, I wonder if she thought of me when she was wearing it. But like, now I'm married, now I've got kids, I can't be part of this. And he said, I would do a lot of things for Ellen's son, but but not this. So essentially, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. So he can't do it. He doesn't want to participate any further than just giving them some temporary shelter. And so Claire's like, fine, with the guys we have, let's go, let's roll. I left a door unlocked in the back of the prison. And one of the other guys is like, listen, Claire, an open door is not a plan. Like, we're just going to walk in? No, not a thing. And then there's these guys who are talking about 21 missing cattle. And then Murtaugh lights up and he's like, all right, this is how we're going to save Jamie. And then the episode ends. Oh my gosh. So I really thought we were going to get to see Jamie one more time. And then because we didn't, I was like immediately terrified. And now we have 2 weeks before we can see the next episode and see how this season wraps up. So there was an interview with the writer, Ira Steven Bear, about writing this episode. And he said that it was easier to write than it was to be on set, because apparently this was one of the hardest set days for a lot of the crew. And of course, obviously for the actors, but usually on crew, he said that crew that he's worked with previously can be in something and not affect them the way that this did. Like, he would go to see like the makeup and hair people and they would be crying, and crew members would be like, when is this going to end? Oh my gosh. Like, I can't imagine, because it was hard to watch. I couldn't imagine being on set that day. Like, that might be one of those, like, I can't work this job anymore kind of days. But, you know, what can you do? So let's get to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So we've got one episode left this season. Now, I know a lot of you have read the books and been a fan of the Outlander series, so you probably have a pretty good idea of what's going on. I don't. So things that I think are going to happen, like, if it's only going to be one episode, like, there's so many things that I still want to see. I feel like we're going to have to see McDougal again, and something's going to have to happen with the deal she made with him, because if they get Jamie out or they don't get Jamie out, like, there's something that's got to happen with that. Either way, any which way that the rescue goes. Also, like, I want to know what's up with Frank, because we haven't seen Frank in a long time. I wonder, what if Frank happens to go and touch the stones? Because, like, none of that's been really clarified of how that happened. Like, if you touch the stone, do you automatically go through, or if you are just a girl? Because we've only seen one other person that got sent through the stones, and it was another girl. And I want to see what happened to her, Galis. I want to see, like, did she actually get executed or not? Because I'm a firm believer that if you don't see a dead body, if I don't see a head, a prosthetic head, and a body laying next to each other, severed, this character is not dead. Because they're not dead till they're dead, soap opera style. But even in soap operas, it doesn't even matter. But this is Outlander. If they're dead, I need to see a body. So I don't feel like Galis actually got executed. I'd like to see Galis. I want to know what's going on with McDougal and their deal. And Frank. Wouldn't it be crazy if Frank jumped through the rocks and maybe he is his own ancestor? Because, oh my gosh, what if they kill Blackjack? Frank comes back. He has to pose as Blackjack and then continue that family line. What? So much drama. So much drama. So thank you guys so much for listening today. You can always find me on all social media at Marielou Mandl. Do subscribe on YouTube and iTunes and SoundCloud. Please comment and tweet at me. I love seeing what you guys have to say. I love your opinions on my predictions, especially because you guys know better than I do. And we will see you for the finale of Outlander in 2 weeks. See you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.